pigs. He goes, every about 20 minutes, everybody just went back to the beach. Everybody's staring around, oh, this is terrible. There's a body laying on the beach. And there's out here scooped up. It's kind of like, anybody using that umbrella?
I'm live.
It's a shame.
Hey, happy 4th.
Hey, love you guys. Great job. Is the phone on?
Coming up on the Wade and Carter Show, Astros win, Generals win, Stanley Cup Finals resume tonight, World Corporate Tax, all that and more coming up on today's show.
It's weather. Yeah.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning to you, sir.
Just listen to you sing.
I was just having a great morning. Yeah, we're back.
Let's do this.
All those Marlboro Reds. The Deerland Feed Weather Report brought to you by Wade and Carter. It is Friday morning, 75 degrees in Victoria, heading to a high today of 93. Going to be mostly sunny.
Yeah, I don't see any rain in
I
the
don't see
forecast today, but starting tomorrow, looks like we got a pretty good shot.
It's kind of like Puerto Vallarta, like every afternoon just showers up. You notice that?
70% chance tomorrow, 90% Sunday. Enjoy your holiday weekend today.
Yeah, and just so you know, we are absolutely all about celebrate America. Gather in groups, have a barbecue. Be cognizant. Kind of give that European air kiss. Good to see you.
245th birthday coming up.
Yeah, it's a big deal. It's a little experiment that most countries last about 200 years. We're showing that we're susceptible to the lunacy that leads to the demise of great regimes.
Despite the left and their Marxist ideology that they're trying to instill and overtake in this country.
Absolutely.
But
make a barbecue, get out, and don't forget, Monday we won't be here.
No.
Monday's a day that we're taking off as a business. I'm assuming most banks are closed on Monday. And if they are, all of them will be closed.
Right.
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be ignorant,
most.
but they're not closed today, so the banks will be closed Monday.
Deerland Feed Store will be closed tomorrow and Sunday. I think they're usually closed Sundays, but they will be closed tomorrow.
Is there a good reason other than, it's just always been this way? Is there a good reason that we don't always celebrate the major holidays in conjunction with a weekend?
Is there a good reason that you don't celebrate your birthday on a day other than the day you were born?
No, but it doesn't affect tens of millions of workers. You know what I mean? I'm just thinking that, okay, July 4th, well, I guess July 4th is just a great day to set aside. That's one thing. But I think about like these other holidays, Memorial Day should always be celebrated on a Friday.
Yeah, but think about it. Yeah, Memorial Day's always Memorial's always a Monday.
Yeah.
But if you really think about it, July 4th will happen on a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, 3 times in a 7-year span, maybe only twice if there's a leap year involved.
So it's just not
it's
that
going to be
deal.
on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Monday every time.
Which holiday was it we were talking about the other day? That we're like St. Patrick's Day. Of course, that's not really a holiday.
More an observance here.
What is the one though that's like, people work half a day Monday, and then they're off all day that Tuesday, and then they're hung over all day Wednesday?
Thanksgiving.
That's every Thursday.
That's the one.
I think we've gotten to where we pretty much take Friday off.
Yeah, and Wednesday.
Yeah, and you got to shop.
People mail it in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
You got to shop on Monday and Tuesday because you got to let that turkey thaw.
Exactly.
Wow.
I usually buy my turkey on the Monday, let it thaw till Thursday.
So we don't have to talk baseball or hockey, but I will throw out that yesterday I turned on the radio.
Yeah.
just to hear Steve Sparks go, it's out of here. Jordan Alvarez with a 436-foot blast.
Yeah, but that wasn't the big one. Altuve's grand slam
Altuve
was
hits
what
a
did it.
grand slam.
Put him up 5-2 and didn't look back after that one.
Some guy, and maybe Steve Kidder or one of our statistician regulars can come up with, some guy yesterday hit for the cycle. So the cycle in baseball, single, double, triple, home run. And it was the third one of his career.
Really?
And in baseball history, nobody's ever had 4. That's interesting. I did not know that you've got to have a special day.
Does that put you in the Hall of Fame?
No. No, not if you're a lifetime 214 hitter. I mean,
You just
he got 8 hits that season, single, a double, a triple, and a homer twice. Yeah, you think about it, it is a fairly unique deal.
Maybe the feat itself puts you in the Hall of Fame, is recognizing that you're the holder of the record for that.
But the triple is very difficult to get.
Yeah.
You almost – it borderlines requiring an error. I mean, it's just that close at the major league level, because what needs to happen for you to get a legitimate triple is like a left-handed hitter hits a curving ball down into the right field corner, and it's clearly a hit. It gets down, and as the right fielder approaches it, it careens off the wall and gets by him. That's what it takes to get a triple, because even with a guy like Tucker out there, if it bounces, hits the wall, and he fields it clean, that runner's stopping at second. Because when you hit the cutoff man Altuve, he will gun you at third.
Absolutely.
So it's very difficult to attain a triple. The home run has become historically easier, and singles and doubles are commonplace. But that triple is a hard one to get. It is very cool, though, in person. And I apologize for those of you that aren't baseball fans, but when you're there live and a guy hits a ball hard, a double's no big deal. You'll see a couple of games. But when you see a big, extremely professionally fit athlete, he's rounding the base, and it's very – you don't see any stand-up triples. He's going for third. He's going for third. And there's a throw, and he's safe. And the crowd
triple to me is
nuts.
the most exciting play in baseball.
It is so exciting.
Offensive play, anyway.
Yep.
So
who just put that? There was a name that said Trey. He's telling us who did it right there. Trey Turner. Trey Turner. Thank you, Mr. Strauss.
BJ Nelson snoozing through this one. Robin Moore Knipling. Good morning. Daniel White is in. Jared Glass checking in. Michelle Wilson Hawkins. Good morning to you.
Let's wake BJ Nelson up. First rattle out of the box. White Trash Services.
Can I finish?
No. 550-1826. 550-1826. You reach out to BJ Nelson and the great folks at White Trash Services. I went by there yesterday and said hi to Carl. And he's out in the back where the work gets done, up front where they have the crumpets and the ding dongs. Yeah, I wouldn't go up there. I stayed out back with the working folks. And I tried to steal one.
You wanted to see what work looks like when it gets done?
Yeah, I can watch for hours. I tried to steal one of those black, they're good looking, those cans with the White Trash Services logo on the side. And it's like branded in there.
How quickly did somebody come to beat you?
Well, they've got video cameras and stuff from VCS out there. But I'll tell you what. White Trash Services, you need service in the 7-county region, Las Vegas, La Vernia, parts of West and South Hollywood.
La Brea Tar Pits.
Yeah, they're in Hollywood. They're there. 550-1826. Reach out to them. Let's do it's Friday. It's a free-form Friday. If you want to call, if you have a dissenting opinion about something, hint.
575-9509. 361 is the area code if you're outside the calling area.
Yeah. I remember when radio shows used to say, the number is toll free. We'll pay for the call. Yeah. We'll pay for the call. Remember that? 800.
Remember how expensive it used to be to call long distance? Like 30 cents a minute to call Canada at one point?
And that's ridiculous. Yeah. It's like free. Because your phone bill's $200 a month.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
They collect it up front. That's why the price of cars is so high. When I was a little guy, you could buy a car for $5,000 and it had a 12-month warranty. Yeah. Unless, now you buy it and it's got a 5-year warranty, but it's $100,000. Yeah, but you prepay all the maintenance.
But you made $9,000 a year back then.
Right. Oh, no, I didn't.
Oh, no.
I made like $3,200. Yeah, just trying to get by.
Now,
I can remember cleaning a car wash for $75 a week, and it was a lot of money. A lot of money.
I had a paper route, and that made me a lot of money.
Oh, I had some fun with George Coleman yesterday. Dawn helped me out. So T-Lat's over there. T-Lat watches who comes and goes at the house and what's going on our cameras from VCS. And she got an alert yesterday that at 5:08, someone had, encroached upon the property. Well, it's the Advocate guy. And he's pulling up.
Told you.
He gives my mom a newspaper, So that we live in a cul-de-sac. And he kind of pulled straight in. He did a nice job because he pulled straight in just to throw it right up on the driveway. But then he just kind of made the big arc, like right through my grass median out there, like just made the arc. So Dawn sent me the video, and then I sent it on to George Coleman. And I said, could you tell this guy to back up instead of driving through, making a new circle drive in my yard? And George sent back, he's a great sport. Mr. Coleman's a good man. I'll tell you folks something that's not on the agenda today, but I want to share it with you. If you don't believe that just you individually can make a difference in this community, you are mistaken. And I'm going to tell you something that I believe from my heart. This town fundamentally changed for the better when we got George Coleman to run the Victoria Advocate. Not so much because Mr. Coleman is such a great guy, but because he replaced an extremely negative, narcissistic, anti-authority, anti-Victoria congeniality guy. Chris Cobbler lived to stir up controversy in our city, and he did it well. He divided people, and he did it in the name of freedom of information. People always wanting you to know everything from their perspective. Thank you, George Coleman, for making the Advocate readable again. And thank you, Victoria, for embracing George Coleman and his effort. Well done, sir.
Morning, Adam Daughtry. The Iceman is in.
Ice.
Carrie Bump.
Carrie.
Marvin Mickish.
Bump, da bump, bump, bump. She's a hip-hop girl.
Richard King, Karen Webb, Ryan Hopping, Roy Gutierrez.
Tomorrow morning, Cars and Coffee downtown, Bella Farms. Get down there tomorrow. They'll be there.
Bobby Leister says Leisterometer still holding steady to 1,005 YouTubers. Junior Samples is in. Andy Rhea Jr., Clint Ives, David Glass, Judge Posey. Good morning, Diane.
Good morning,
Tippett.
Judge.
Justin Glass is in. Ricky King. Good morning to y'all.
Diane's become a regular. Is she just excited about y'all's new offices? And she's just up making it happen? Do we have any listeners that aren't on your payroll in some form?
Oh, yeah, all of them.
Okay.
Kate Garcia, good morning. Jim Simpson. Saw Jim yesterday at the Generals game. Generals won a 6-3. Exciting game there.
Jimmy Three Cheese is out there. He's a faithful. Interstate has a table out there on that party deck.
Jim Hartman, good morning. Adam Daughtry says, what do you think of how the panhandlers are decorating the overpasses with urine and trash? Thankfully, this is where living in the country has some benefits. I only get to see the trash when somebody dumps it out of the back of their pickup truck on the side of the road, like just around the corner from my place, 4 tires in a trash bag and an ice chest yesterday morning.
I think we ought to round them all up and take them to Fishbeck Road. My thought is when you're out there to the 2-4, just go to the end of this road and that guy will give you a new dog. You can have a dog and a snack, maybe a Jameson. I'm still at the point where I'm seeing some folks that have some mental health issues. I saw a guy the other day. It's not funny. It's not, but it is kind of funny. I'm driving down, and if you're on the loop over here, like going towards Caterpillar, but you exit to go to Business 59, like you're going to the airport.
Yeah.
There was a guy standing with his back to the road, right there across from Tipton's old gas station.
Okay.
But he's at the corner. He's got a bucket. Anything will help. And he's playing a guitar, but he's facing the grass. He's not facing the road. This guy clearly has mental issues. This guy ought to be picked up, counseled, helped. If he can't afford his medication, let's provide it for him, and then let's help him get out of Victoria. Then there's a lady up here yesterday.
Oh, and local bands can pick him up. They need a rhythm guitar player.
You know what? That guy looked a lot like Scott Taylor. No, not really. Then you go up here to the Loop and Navarro, and there was a lady, and she was jumping up and down. And I thought, man, she's like she had fire ants on her.
Yeah.
She was making wreaths out of some type of vine, and she had finished one, and she threw it down, and she was jumping up and down. Now, this lady needs some medication, and then she needs a bus ticket to Hallettsville. Dude, if you're not contributing to our city, if you're just here, I'm sorry if you have mental health issues. Go somewhere else and enjoy the weather.
I'm not convinced those are the ones causing
leaving
the trash. They might be taking a leak. Because what else you can do all day?
Come
you gotta
on.
go somewhere.
Raise your hand if you ever peed outside.
Yeah, everybody.
Yeah, I've done it.
But
in Terra Vista,
when I see a bunch of trash left at an intersection where in the past I've seen them walk out of a vehicle to get to that intersection, they can pack that crap up and take it with them when they leave just as easily as they pack up the vehicle to come from Houston to Victoria every day to go stand on that corner and panhandle.
I agree. I do. I agree. I'm waiting for someone still to trespass, break the law. I think that Wade and Carter could put together a GoFundMe to defend you through the law offices of Steve Kidder. I want someone to go out to that Midway store out there past the airport on the left and get that RV carcass and all that garbage off that lot out there. By the way, it'd be a dandy little spot for a Buc-ee's. It'd be a great little spot for a convenience store. If all you sold was Copenhagen, beer, ice, and milk, and maybe some jerky.
We tried that for a while. It didn't work there, remember?
But we could get Swarovski to take out ice and jerky. Oh, I think it would work now. That area's booming.
It wouldn't work.
It wouldn't work. Little gas station.
Traffic there.
Even if it had like pole dancers.
Maybe then.
We could call it minimus.
Scott Tomko says a guitar player didn't want to pressure the drivers with eye-to-eye contact.
Right. Yes. Anything helps.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Here's the problem with that, though, the way I see it. Unfortunately, if you're going to have private property owners and the rights that come with that, and respect those rights and not have the government tromping into your property because they don't like something, somebody else has the right, unfortunately, to leave a blight like that on the landscape.
Yeah,
in Texas.
And make no mistake, so like a friend of mine that catches heat on that, Clint Ives. Why doesn't the county do something about that? You can't. County can't go on private property. And that's private property. Now, I will tell you that I have traced that back to the Indian dude that owns it. I've talked to their office in Houston. I tried to make some headway there. Yeah. Very difficult. They don't care. And I'm going to tell you that BJ Nelson said, "Why? We've got the equipment, we've got the roll off. I'm tempted to organize a Wade and Carter function. We just go do it. Except if I'm honest, if we did that, they'd probably try to sue us. But if somebody just went out there and put out a roll off dumpster, and folks went out there like a Boy Scout unit and threw it all into the dumpster, they ain't going to sue you. They'd never know it was gone." And I bet I could get Allen's Record Service to tow off that RV frame. It looks like somebody sparked up one too many doobies in like a Winnebago, and the thing caught on fire and it just burned to the ground.
That's probably exactly what happened.
Like, hey, dude, you went to sleep, man. Look, the Fritos are on fire. Yeah.
Bobby Leister says there's been plans since 2017 to build a store.
Well, it's a great location. You're coming in, the next closest place is at Smitty's. And like we've talked about, there's no fuel on the right side of the road all the way to 77. We could call it Ash and Dash.
No.
Be a nice little retirement for you. Put a little mobile home park in the back.
No, I'm not into retail sales.
Okay.
I don't like retail.
I don't like retail. Make a note. Today, Ash confesses he doesn't like retail. Ashes on. How about that? Ashes on.
Bezos would probably get mad.
Right.
For copyright infringement.
Yeah, he named his business after a river. Yeah. Well, why don't we start a new one called Nile? Bigger river.
Bigger river.
Take that, Bezos.
Mississippi wider.
Did you see where these people, 600 people, have pre-qualified or prepaid $250,000 to be taken into outer space?
Yeah, that's on Richard Branson's Virgin Galactic, right?
That is a lot of cheese. Let's see. That's $150 million.
Yeah. And think about it. That's
not right.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
right.
that's what I'm sorry. $150 million. But you
And
can't take all
think about
600
it. No, but that's not even covering the cost of getting to the point of taking those folks into space.
Right.
I mean, Branson ain't making his money back on the first 600 flyers. That's for sure.
No, if you're paying, I thought you were saying like you got to fly to Florida. If you're paying $250, those advantage miles will be well spent. Folks, Allen's Wrecker Service this weekend. You need him, you call him. They work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, holidays included. 578-6300. Allen's Wrecker Service will come out and help you in the unfortunate situation you may find yourself in. Truly professional, absolutely qualified, from big rigs down to Yugos. You can call Allen's Wrecker Service. The VCS companies, we've already mentioned some of their capabilities. For all your communication needs, especially if you're a first responder, reach out to FirstNet, a dedicated network for first responders.
Only available through the locally owned and authorized AT&T retailer.
And that is right there on Kerr Boulevard, just inside the loop off of Main Street. Chesnick Furniture, where it's always been in your lifetime. For 70 years, they've been at 116 West Juan Lynn, the corner of Juan Lynn and Bridge. They paid for the building long ago. They passed the savings on to you. Chesnick and Love make your house a home. Bobby Leon will look you right in the face and say, you just do better at Chesnick. You buy it today, they'll deliver tonight half off on best recliners, sofas, love seats. They also have a whole bunch of
accoutrement.
There you go. That's the French second, brought to you by Wade and Carter. Veracruz, today's your last day. Your last day to get into Veracruz this week. I don't remember the last time I went a full week without going to Veracruz, and I've got the belts to prove it.
Yes, you do.
So reach out today. Go by. I kept thinking I would see Chief Arredondo. We haven't talked about this yet. I'm going to try to get the chief on the air. Victoria PD, and make no mistake, the chief I'm proud of. I'm not surprised. He said, hey, I knew I was coming into a great organization when I got here. He's not claiming this as if it's something he did. But VPD getting major accolades for their protocols and the way they handle things. And before I get over my skis too much, I'll get the chief to come in and tell you about the awards they got, because it was obvious in the pictures he was proud to be affiliated with your police department. So hats off to the chief. Hats off to VPD. Thank you, Jerry Craig, for your hard work. And thank you to the city of Victoria for your commitment to our police department.
Iceman says, need to get you a shock collar.
Right.
To light him up with a sound or video fails, and then we can get his attention.
There.
He was rolling. It's fixed.
Was I rolling?
Yeah. Well, you were doing a break, and I was trying to get the audio working. I don't know what happened.
Absolutely
nothing.
I do not know.
Honest. But going back to,
he was rolling.
You were.
Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor?
He's rolling.
Great line, isn't it?
It is. Made you think for a minute too. When I first heard that, I was like, wait a second. Then it was funny.
So the new free issue or edition.
Oh, I was going to get to.
Go ahead.
I was going to get to something on the Richard Branson thing.
Oh, okay.
Because Jeff Bezos is doing his own space travel thing.
It is. Yeah. Wade and Carter.
And he's trying to one-up Branson by bringing Wally Funk in. If you're not familiar with who she is, she's one of the first women in this country to ever be, I think, certified to fly to space, but never did. Did a lot of great things. Was one of the first female inspectors in the FAA. Did a lot of stuff with this as a pilot, but never got into space in the 60s. Now she's going to get that. Although I think she flew on one of Branson's first deals, but Bezos is going to take her with him when he makes his inaugural flight on whatever
like
his.
Out of appreciation, respect for all she's done.
All she's done. I'm trying to think what his is called. Blue Origin's inaugural flight. His company. That's who he's taking up with him.
There you go.
He just doesn't want to die alone when it crashes.
Well, what do? You talk about some waivers. There's going to be some, and I wonder, of course, now.
Were there waivers when the Wright brothers took their first passenger up?
No, there wasn't even insurance. I wonder if you're.
There weren't even really planes.
Your life insurance, yeah, it would respond because you're a passenger, you're a paid passenger on an aircraft, so your life insurance would respond.
Would it be considered one of those risky things that usually nullifies your,
not
like parachuting or base jumping?
No, it'd be like
one of those exclusions.
Assumption of risk. Yeah. The Iceman says it's Joe Biden, the Joe Biden effect, messing with our show. I don't think Joe messes with us. He's got bigger fish to fry. I mean, everybody hates the guy, so he's got bigger and more important people that hate him than us.
Exactly.
I was reading a deal here, and our friend Emmett Alvarez has this free publication called the Revista de Victoria. It's actually a very fine. It's just a very fine little publication. He talks about UHV moving into their new academic facility.
Stembo is nice.
Yeah, it's nice. There's a nice article in here about a mother and daughter that graduated together from VC. I think that's a great story. That's small community college. That's just good stuff. But Quentin Shepard, I was scanning an article by Quentin and he always does such a great job. But he talks about a lyric in a song.
In a sign?
It's like, and it just jumped out at me because it's talking about the lyric says, it's talking about someone had enough steam to blow the whistle, but not enough to pull the train. And he's talking about when you feel stretched so thin, when you feel so tired, when, as J.R.R.R.R. Tolkien said, you feel like butter that's been spread too thinly over the bread. But I thought he was going to say that because it is applicable to, he didn't say, but I interpret it as there's plenty of people in this community that have enough steam to blow the whistle, but they don't have enough to pull the train. People that want to complain about the school bonds, people that want to complain about our election process, people that want to complain about our elected officials who don't even vote. You have that opportunity tomorrow, and if you don't vote, shut up. Tomorrow, July the 3rd, is the final day of voting for our new mayor to replace Raleigh McCoy and for our new city councilman to replace the seat vacated by Jeff Balknight. Get out and vote tomorrow. Vote early, vote often if you're a Democrat.
You got 5 candidates in District 3, and I think no matter where you stand, one of them should probably represent you as a voter.
If there are enough votes, there will not be a runoff. There's the way to look at it. If enough people vote, there will be a clear 50% winner.
And 3 candidates for mayor that I think represent, again, probably a good cross-section of the voters in Victoria.
Misters Crook, Alvarez, and Balknight.
Iceman says you nailed it. Voters, shut up. Can't complain if you're part of the problem. You know what? You read that about the steam. I think, though, what voters have said the last 2 bond elections is we have no more steam to give right now.
I think that's possible, too. Can you imagine, just work with me for a second. Can you imagine
what's different today then?
If someone came onto the school board and said, effective immediately, we're cutting 25% out of our budget. Y'all figure out where it's going. We're cutting 25%. So where would that go? It would have to go. Well, sadly, it'd probably go from maintenance, which is what it's always done. But you'd have to get rid of some of the top heaviness.
That's why corporations always get rid of employees, because salary is always the biggest expense of any entity.
Yeah. So what do you do? I mean, when I was in high school, of course, we had Mr. Erskine was our principal at Victoria High, and you had Mr. Anderson was the assistant. And I remember for a while, I think there was Mr. Severchek was there, and Mary Jane Schertz was an English teacher, but she was also kind of the ladies' principal, but she was an English teacher.
Okay.
Well, now you've got a principal, at least 3 assistants, and these are all well-paid assistants. Not that they don't deserve to be well-paid, but two assistant principals would pay for 3 teachers, easy. So I'm at the point where I think our school board needs to say, if it doesn't put a book or a laptop in a kid's hand, and it doesn't put an instructor in front of them to teach them how to use it, or how about this novel idea? If it doesn't put a checkbook or a skill saw or a welding rod in that child's hand with an instructor to teach them how to use it, we need to reevaluate its value and whether or not it should be a part of our program. From the top down, if you're the assistant super in charge of administrative services, you got to go. You got to go. Sorry. That's what secretaries handle. You got to go. Nothing personal. Get your guitar and get over there to the Loop and compete with Fred.
Maybe that's their summer job.
Right. Well, when I was a kid, hey, I've got some of the smartest people I knew were school teachers. You know what the men did? The coaches got together. They painted houses in the summer to make money because they had families to feed. I mean, it's just a different era. It's a different group of people. I throw myself in this same group. I've always had a buffer. I've always had a mom and dad I could fall back on. These folks didn't. Yeah. Their parents were folks of the Depression. There was no family trust. There was no, Eagleford.
Well, that's a problem too with a lot of the youth in Victoria today. They don't have that family unit providing them that.
And that's a shame. Fall back on. Yeah. But thank goodness the Democrats are suggesting that the government come in and be that family unit.
Yeah. Been suggesting it for 50 some odd years and destroying the family unit. Particularly in underserved populations where they seek to keep them down and
they do. Nobody sees that. Nobody sees that when the government does something for you, they're using someone else's money to give you a benefit
that only benefits them in the long
term. And they're holding you down.
Absolutely.
Hey, no, don't work 2 jobs. No. We'll pay you an extra $1,000 a month.
Heck, don't work any job. We'll give you extra unemployment benefits so you don't have to go back to work now that the economy is reopened.
And don't forget who did that for you. So you spend the rest of your life making your $1,500 a month when you probably could have made $3,000 a month doing it on your own.
Yeah.
But they don't want you to think like that. They want you to be beholden to the government. The Democratic Party, by design, encourages dependence upon the government, not independence.
Take a break and then let's explore this further on a global
independently basis. Of your own volition. Go to atsenoffer.com today and look for a new car. You can do it, really, folks. Whether it's
I would encourage you to go walk the lot today, and then tomorrow when it rains, that's when you go on atsenoffer.com.
But if you've seen inventories, I mean, you could have a fun run over there on that parking lot.
Wow. Thank you, China.
Yes, China. For your virus.
Can't tell me that in the last 6 months when inventory started to shrink that we couldn't figure out a way to get these parts made in the USA.
Well, I'm actually willing to go a step further, and I would love to see a movement where we decided buy Texas. Buy things that are made in Texas first. You have an option. I think that'd be cool. I'd buy Victoria, make it here. We'll buy it. Go to atsenoffer.com, Chevy, Cadillac, Mazda, Mitsubishi. Reach out today for your paint and body work. Go buy for any make and model of service. They can get the parts unless they're from China. They'll inspect your vehicle, tires, Atsenoffer.
They got it all.
They do it all. Victoria's dealer. Razor IT Solutions, JP Hull. I haven't heard from JP this week. That's how I know JP is swamped and busy.
Yeah.
He's a fine guy. Great dad, great husband, all around just a good, fun dude. And
I think he chimed in at the start of the week when Texas lost in the college.
I'm sure he did. Yeah. Jim Simpson says BISD is too heavy with administration. The White House is full. Yep. Reach out to Razor IT to protect your data, encrypt it, to understand your analytics. If all of a sudden you found out tomorrow, for example, that what you're selling online was, man, a lot of folks in Oklahoma have been looking at it. You could tailor your marketing to appeal to those people. You could use smaller words and maybe take the teeth out of your models, and it would look like Oklahoma, and they would feel comfortable. That's how Razor can help you. Reach out to JP Hull. We talked about the law offices of Steve Kidder. That's all he gets.
That's all he gets.
We did it. About him. We did it. Complete 360. The health bar. Still going back. I didn't get to fulfill any fantasies in that press box, but I did have a wonderful panini with T-Lat the other night in the press box.
Nice.
Very nice. The health bar. Don't give me that smirk. You had something to say. You were wondering.
No, I appreciate no fantasy being fulfilled in there because I had to sit in there the last 2 nights. Right. So, yeah.
Is that hair gel? Anyway, welcome back to the program. Wade and Carter Friday. What is
world governments, 130 countries decide to implement a minimum corporate tax. And again, folks, this is just it's a shell. It's a bunch of BS. They may say they're taxing corporations, they're not. They're taxing people.
Yeah.
Whether it's the owner of the corporation, whether it's you as employees of the corporation, whether it's customers of whatever that corporation widget that it makes, who then get passed on the increase to corporate taxes, people pay those taxes.
Absolutely.
The revenue comes from people who buy the products, use their services, and that's where the taxes come from.
Patrick Strauss says he had a panini yesterday and got to meet Bob Constantine. This is one major benefit of this program that we didn't know or didn't anticipate when we began the program, is that our listeners have developed a synergy amongst them.
Yeah.
I mean, like, who was it that I introduced? Anyway, I was somewhere recently, and the guy that I was talking, I know exactly where I was. And the gentleman said, that's BJ Nelson. I just started my service with White Trash Services today, and I got to introduce them. And she goes, I saw your name on a piece of paper. Very cool. I like that. I know that you started using White Trash. And they've got billboards. Zach Smith says the U.S. added 850,000 jobs. I don't know.
Here's the problem I have with this. And if Donald Trump was still president, I would say the exact same thing. You're adding jobs that the government shut down for the most part.
Or you're adding jobs that are government jobs.
Well, possibly. I don't know the numbers, but when you look at how many jobs were lost because of the government forcing shutdowns through COVID, we're just getting back to where we were.
Absolutely.
We're not adding jobs. To me, adding jobs is new jobs that weren't there. Or we've been at a level of unemployment for so long, and now we're adding jobs. Until we get to pre-COVID numbers and start making gains on those numbers,
right?
I can't sit there and celebrate 850,000 new jobs when the government had a hand in squashing people and did all they could to shut them down.
Yeah,
and keep them shut down.
Until black unemployment numbers are back down where they were, female minority numbers are down to where they were. It's really all not real growth. It's just inching back towards reality.
But 130 countries have now agreed to implement a corporate tax at a level of at least 15%. The U.S. already has a 21% corporate income tax, which I believe under President Trump dropped 6%. Wasn't it like 27 or 28%?
I think so.
And it might have even been higher.
As high as 35 at one point.
Well, and at one point, and I think in the 60s, it was like 70 or 80%, if I'm not mistaken, if I've read right. But China's come out on this and said, we're going to implement this 20 or 15% tax on our corporations. You own all the corporations, China.
Right.
Nobody starts a business in China without the government, the Chinese Communist Party approving it and having a hand in it. So what is it? What is a 20%? And they don't, when China's involved, it's a bunch of garbage to begin with.
Yeah.
But can we believe that they're going to actually implement a 20 or 15% tax on businesses in China? No. But here's the thing. You got companies or countries that had less than that, and their business is thriving. This is a penalty on those countries who decided to take advantage and lure other corporations to them because the countries they were in were a bunch of greedy clowns wanting to overtax them.
Amen. Torrin Bale says it's jobs added. The increase in jobs are jobs added by the states that refused the federal unemployment cash. And that makes sense. People had to go back to work because they're not making any money sitting on their butts. How about, so I'll give you an example, a real world example. There was a time just several years ago and now currently where every major grill, Masterbuilt, Charbroil, all the grills that you know on the Main Street market, they were all made in the United States of America, all. Then there became a period of time, and it still exists, where all of those grills are made in China. And the reason was corporate taxes. The people said, well, man, if we're doing $100 million a year and 21 million of it a year is going to the federal government for taxes, I'd rather go to China, spend $10 million on a facility, give $5 million to the Chinese to leave me alone, and save $6 million. Paid for my plant, own my own plant, use their cheap labor.
Well, that was probably driving the decisions more than
so
taxes,
that's where that goes. Yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying, look how much money there is to play with. Well, then Trump came in and said, instead of doing this, let's tax the world, Trump said, let's tax the people that are luring people away from our country. Trump said, fine, we'll put a tariff on Chinese goods. That shut down the grill industry for a while. I have friends that have worked in that industry for years at very high levels, national sales managers, who said, we as a company agreed with the tariff and just agreed to hunker down and try to get through, because the price of a gas grill went from $300 to $425.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden your charbroil grill, which really wasn't a high-end grill, was competing with like DCS or somebody that's a super high wolf, high-end grill. Weber. Well, Weber's made in China. So you start looking at that. Some are made here. Some probably made in Canada.
Possibly.
I think so. But when you look at it, Trump said, let's just put the tariff on the people that are luring our country's businesses away. The Democrats go, no, let's just tax everybody. Everybody pays a tax.
Well, when
different philosophies, folks.
What nobody's talking about with this, and Joe, this is deflection on Joe Biden's administration again. We're gonna level the global playing field. Everybody's gonna have to tax everybody at 15%. We get on board with this. We promote the heck out of this. Meanwhile, China is colonizing Africa. Africa has most of the precious resources we need. I don't want to just say minerals because it's more than that. For the batteries that we need to run electric vehicles, the rechargeable batteries we need for all the products in our life. They manufacture a lot of the computer chips that goes into cars. They manufacture a lot of the components that go into vehicles of all sorts. Farm equipment, vehicles, lawn and garden equipment.
Maybe Deerland Feed should open a branch over there.
There are shortages in multiple industries of key components of parts and things that we need to finalize production. And you see it on the car lots when you drive by, and there's very few cars. There's fewer and fewer tractors in the lots of farm equipment companies. There are shortages in all sorts of consumer goods, and it all originates from China. And it's not all just parts. They're sitting there purposely not shipping things to the U.S. And the Biden administration won't say a damn thing to the Chinese Communist Party. Their actions are hurting American consumers, and Joe Biden is so beholden to the Chinese Communist Party.
Right.
He will not stand up for average, everyday working Americans who either can't get the things they need to continue on with life, or they become exponentially more expensive because they are so scarce. Meanwhile, China's running roughshod in Africa with modern day slavery because they're giving a few million to the despots that run those countries who continue to live in their fiefdoms while everybody else is a serf. You really want to talk about inequality in this world? It ain't in the U.S., folks. Everybody here has an opportunity to compete and work hard from the get-go. The playing field is level from the beginning. The outcome is not, but the government is trying to finish that and fix that for you so that everybody has the same outcome now.
Yeah, it's equity is not equality of outcome. It's equality of opportunity.
China is absolutely using slave labor in Africa to control these resources, and the world is just turning a blind eye.
Absolutely. It's interesting to me, and the hypocrisy of the left. Here it is. The left ranted and railed about Donald Trump and his too cozy relationship with Russia, even though so many times Donald Trump did things that visibly ran contra to that hypothesis. Trump would do something. I'm going to put a sanction on Russia. Well, you wouldn't do that to your buddy Vlad Putin, but he did it. So enters Joe Biden, whose actions absolutely egregiously show him to be in bed with China. He's best buddies with Xi. His actions show it. And yet there's no outrage from the left.
No.
Zero. And folks, you don't have to look very far at all these days. Let me just tell you, I'm gonna get rid of Title IX. I'm gonna get rid of men's and women's sports. We're just gonna have sports. That's all we're gonna have. We're gonna have a football team, we're gonna have a basketball team, we're gonna have a baseball team, we're gonna have a swimming team, and whatever else. But guess what? The number of athletic programs in this country that could turn a profit would go up exponentially. There's only a handful in the NCAA right now that make any money. The reality is, if we just said from now on, it's just sports. If you're a girl and you play basketball, we're not going to have a girls basketball team anymore because people are so up in arms about having gendered males play on the girls team. We're just going to have a basketball tryout. If you can play, you play. Come on, if you can't, you can't. Guess what, folks? Overnight, girls sports go away. Girls sports go away because guess what? Nobody wants to watch women play basketball against LeBron James. So here's the problem. Where is the outrage?
And the NBA doesn't truly believe that, or they'd give Brittany Griner a shot to play in the NBA.
And guess what? You know, somebody like Zion would she take a charge and die? So what happens? Where is the outrage? Where are the women's groups standing up for these young ladies who pour their heart and soul into their sports, who are going to be usurped and rendered useless and non-consequential?
Even Caitlyn Jenner says it's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. Okay, there's a great example. Let's go back to, let's say that Bruce Jenner decided he was a woman back in the early 70s. Do you want him winning the women's heptathlon? He could have won it easily. What does that say about women's sports? Where is the outrage for these young women that are, I don't get it. The outrage of these women's groups is all agenda-driven,
take it a step
situational.
Further. Think about it in boxing or the UFC.
Great point. Michael Jolly. Just open tryouts. What's that girl's name that we liked? That was
Ronda Rousey.
Ronda Rousey against Conor McGregor. Let's go. How long does she last?
How long does she live? Let's be honest.
Well, I just don't get it. And don't get me wrong. There's plenty of women on this planet that are physically superior to me. I'm not saying that I'm a better athlete than any woman ever. But the reality is, I mean, I went to high school with Yolanda Wimbish, and she was twice the athlete I was. But she wouldn't have been an All-American playing for the guys. So where's the outrage? The outrage is fake. The outrage is staged. The outrage is a manipulative agenda issue. Why isn't Dr. Jill Biden championing women's sports? Because she might upset the LBGQT set. What is that? At most, is it 10% of our country? We're going to let 10% of our, how much?
Not even, I don't think.
How much of this garbage are we going to continue to stand for? I mean, when are we going to say it's white, heterosexual, educated, married person's month?
Michael Jolly says
put it all in 1 month.
Mayweather versus Britney Spears.
Well, but he'd have to fight her dad too, and the state of California.
Probably beat them all.
I don't understand it. I don't know why you don't have powerful. I don't understand why you don't have powerful former athletes. Where's Maya Moore, WNBA perennial all-star? Why isn't she stepping up and saying, this is absurd. I don't want to play against Billy. It used to be Billy. Now it's Billie, and he's got some implants, and he's 6'4", 210. I don't want to play against that guy. Well, that doesn't make her scared or homophobic. It just says, hey, look, it's you everywhere in the world. We're talking about an equal playing field. Then we get to sports. Oh, let the guys. They're so cute. Let him play with her. Oh my
Adam
goodness.
Daughtry says now you'd have a man beating a woman if Conor McGregor fought Ronda Rousey.
Right. I'm just saying. So let's just do away with it. Open tryouts. And guess what? If UT only had to play men's one football team, one basketball team, one baseball team, there would be no women in any of those sports, and the university would make hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars.
Which is why Title IX existed in the first place. Because they weren't letting women have a sport.
They're going to ruin it. And when you start playing tonight, we have a matchup between Cal Berkeley, which is featuring 4 transgender people, they, for thems, against the University of Houston, the last all-girl basketball team. You know who's going to win that game? Cal Berkeley. Come on, man. And who wants to pay to watch that? Bunch of
We're going backwards. We're going backwards.
Stupid.
Thought we'd made progress and in a whole bunch of ways, and we're taking a step backwards.
But the fact that we even have to have this conversation, the fact that, well, my son's a good player, he's a JUCO player. Dude, can you imagine if he could play for the Lady Longhorns? Wait. Get him a skirt. Tee him up. And by the way, that'll happen. He can use his name, image, and likeness and bring a track. We can fund him. He can bring attention to our movement. The idea that we're giving a special voice to the lunatics in our country is absurd. It's absurd. You got to vote. You've got a voice. Be as LBGQT XYZ as you want to be. Do it at home in your own bedroom. Shut up. Don't want to hear about you. We don't need to have LBGQT Pride Month. It's ridiculous. Just be proud. It's dumb. Now call me homophobic. Stupid.
Jordan Bales is all about the Dems trying to divide us.
That's exactly what it is. And they'll take
divide and conquer.
5% of the country and go, look at their victim status. They can't even get a scholarship. Ridiculous. Not trying to be a downer on a Friday, just trying to make
doing
you
a good
think.
job, though.
Just make you think. Where's the outrage from the right even? Why doesn't some man step up and say, oh, wait, I just
Because of modern day McCarthyism. Somebody
me.
Stands up to say something that makes sense and you get canceled.
Come at me.
Your life gets ruined. That's what happens today.
Come at me.
It's like we talked about yesterday. It's why they don't remove J. Edgar Hoover's name off the FBI building, because they're using the exact same tactics that he used, because
that's right.
He is the left's poster child.
That's right.
For those tactics.
Craziness.
4th of July weekend, folks. We can celebrate all that's great about this country.
So Zach Smith says 4th of July weekend. Who cares, Brent? Celebrate freedom. Go away, Zach. Go away. Go put your skirt on.
But do you have freedom when you have a group of the population that absolutely tries to destroy every freedom that we have, or your life for speaking your voice?
Now, see, there's Pete McNally, and this is exactly the response I expect from the extreme left liberal dingo head here. Brent, discussing is absurd. Right, discussing the outcomes to be expected by putting boys in girls' uniforms. You don't hear the girls clamor. Girls used to just clamor for an opportunity to play. Girls aren't clamoring to play boys' sports. Why is that?
They want to play their own sports.
Why is that? Because they know they can't compete. So why do you want to do it? Pete, you're right. Discussing it is absurd. I wish you and Zach would just talk to each other on the phone during this hour. Go away. Simple. I can get by without 2 listeners. Motto Mortgage, Terry Murray, 541-5454. Reach out to Motto Mortgage. I don't care. She doesn't care if you wear a skirt to the closing. Show up. Deeply discount your mortgage rate. Deeply discount your
She'll give you all the
payment.
options that you have for your mortgage situation, and you'll come away absolutely pleased.
541-5454. Wind Services for generators, solar panels, plumbing, electrical, emergency work. You need them? Call them. Wind Services. For everything you need. They've done work at the 2-4. They've done work for me. They've done work for most of my commercial clients.
Professional and wonderful.
They do great work.
They do.
USA Concrete Coatings, Charlie Garcia, 578 Home. Talked to a guy yesterday. It's also USA Foundation Repair. Talked to a guy yesterday in Rockport that used Charlie and said it's just unbelievably professional, unbelievably perfect work. It's been 3 years since he had the work done, and his house is still perfectly level. Everything's beautiful.
Awesome.
Charlie Garcia, 578 Home. And then the Great Barn, 920-6803. Reach out
For
to
all your
Cheryl
event needs.
for all your party needs. 920-6803. Folks, it's top of the hour. I hope you go celebrate America this weekend. I hope you celebrate the America that we tried to build with the Constitution, where everyone's created equal. Nobody needs special consideration to be equal. Just
Nobody
go
needs
be
the government
equal.
to provide you an outcome just because you don't want to work for it.
The government can't make you equal without taking something from you.
And guess what? You don't need Joe Biden's approval or permission to celebrate our independence.
Absolutely. Kiss your neighbor, eat some brisket.
Have a good
Celebrate the
weekend.
country. We'll talk to you Monday.
Be safe,
Tuesday.
folks.
Tuesday, folks. Bye.
Bye, folks.
And Carter Show is a paid programming, and KHMC Magic 95 assumes no responsibility for its content, and the Wade and Carter Show bears all responsibility.